Imagine you're in a moment where someone has just disrespected you. Maybe they made a snide remark, criticized your abilities, or undermined your worth. In that instant, every part of you might want to fire back, defend yourself, or show them you won't be pushed around. But consider this: the most profound display of power often lies in restraint. It's about harnessing that knee-jerk reaction and recognizing that you're in control. Not the situation, not the other person, not even the emotions bubbling inside you. When you stay quiet, you're not giving in or backing down, you're actively choosing how to spend your energy. Restraint isn't weakness, it's one of the ultimate expressions of inner strength. Anyone can yell or argue when they feel attacked, but it takes a grounded individual to remain composed. Think of it like this: if you had a handful of diamonds, you wouldn't throw them in the dirt at the first sign of trouble. Your inner peace, your time, and your focus are your diamonds. By not reacting, you're keeping hold of what's precious to you and not allowing someone else's words or actions to steal it. There's a saying that he who angers you controls you, and isn't that true? When we react impulsively, we give away our power, allowing someone else to dictate our state of mind. But when we choose to stay silent, we're holding on to our power and taking back control. That silence shows others, and more importantly, it shows you that you're the one steering the ship, even in choppy waters. This isn't about bottling up feelings or pretending things don't affect you. It's about responding with intention rather than impulse. You're choosing not to let disrespect define your actions. Moreover, staying quiet in the face of disrespect creates a powerful ripple effect. Those around you notice that you don't waver easily, that you can handle challenging moments with grace and strength. People will see that you don't rise or fall based on someone else's judgment or opinion. They'll see that you operate from a place of stability, confidence, and wisdom, a place that's untouchable to disrespect. Power in restraint is a skill, a discipline. It requires training the mind to focus on what's essential and let go of what's petty. Each time you practice it, you're building an unshakable core that remains steady, regardless of what others throw your way. And that kind of inner stability, it's priceless. It's a demonstration of true power, the kind that isn't reactive but proactive, the kind that speaks louder in silence than any words ever could. When someone disrespects us, the urge to react immediately can feel overwhelming. It's like a spark that flares up in an instant, pushing us to defend, prove, or retaliate. But in that split-second moment, the real power lies in controlling our response. Think of it as a skill, one that transforms our reaction from something impulsive and potentially destructive into something intentional and empowering. Controlling your response means taking ownership of your emotions, no matter how intense they feel. It's recognizing that your reactions belong to you and you have the power to shape them. By stepping back, even if just for a second, you give yourself the gift of perspective. You break away from being controlled by the situation, the words, or the actions of another person, and you allow yourself to process what's happening from a place of clarity. In that space of control, you're free from the shackles of reactive anger, frustration, or hurt. You're free to choose the direction you want to take next. When you control your response, you avoid unnecessary conflict, tension, and often regret. How many times have we all reacted hastily and later wished we could take back our words? Reacting in the heat of the moment often clouds our judgment, leading us down a path we didn't even want to take. But when we pause, we can assess the situation more rationally. We can ask ourselves, what outcome do I actually want here? Will this reaction serve me, or will it leave me feeling worse? That simple pause is where true freedom lives, and it's what sets apart those who lead their lives with purpose from those who drift based on every emotional tide. Controlling your response isn't about suppressing your feelings or pretending disrespect didn't occur. It's about channeling your emotions constructively, holding space for yourself without letting emotions dictate your behavior. In that space of calm, you become clear on your values, your goals, and what's really worth your energy. You're able to see the bigger picture rather than getting lost in a momentary exchange. And that's where growth happens, when you rise above the immediate impulse and choose a response aligned with who you want to be. People who master this skill don't get easily rattled. They're resilient, steady, and intentional. They don't live in reaction to others, but instead operate from a place of purpose. When others see that you're not swayed by a quick insult or a thoughtless comment, it commands respect. Your calm presence speaks louder than any words you could have fired back with, and it often disarms the other person entirely. They see they cannot provoke you, they cannot control you, and that is a powerful message to send. In the end, controlling your response is about living by design rather than default. It's choosing to own your state of mind, not handing it over to someone else's words or actions. This doesn't just make you stronger, it makes you wiser, because every moment you choose to respond with intention, you reinforce your ability to handle life's challenges with grace. And when you build this habit, you're no longer a person who's easily shaken, you're a person with a deep foundation of self-mastery, grounded and unshakable. In a world where demands on our energy are endless, learning to preserve it becomes one of our most essential skills. Think about it, energy isn't just physical, it's mental, emotional, and spiritual, and it fuels every part of who we are and what we do. When someone disrespects us, that disrespect can feel like a drain, a pull that tugs at our energy and tempts us to dive in and respond. But here's the key: just because someone throws an insult or negative energy your way doesn't mean you have to accept it or use your precious energy to react to it. Preserving your energy is about recognizing its value. Every moment of focus, every thought, every emotional reaction carries energy with it, and we have a finite amount each day. When you pour it into arguments, hurt feelings, or the need to retaliate, you're spending energy that could be channeled towards something far more fulfilling. It's easy to forget, but every time we engage in a negative exchange, we're giving a part of ourselves away. Ask yourself, is it worth it? Does this person or this situation deserve a share of your limited energy? When you learn to protect your energy, you're actively choosing what deserves your attention and what doesn't. It's about becoming intentional. There's a power in being selective, in deciding that your focus will only go toward things that enrich you or help you grow. This doesn't mean you ignore every difficult situation, but it does mean you're choosing not to waste energy on things that don't align with your goals, values, or well-being. By doing this, you keep your mind clear and your emotions steady. Think of your energy as a bank account. Each day you're given a certain balance, and with every interaction or task you make withdrawals. When you choose not to respond to disrespect, you're making a conscious decision to keep that energy bank full. Imagine what you could do with that saved energy. Instead of depleting yourself in negativity, you're investing it back into yourself, your growth, your dreams. You're keeping your reserves for things that genuinely matter to you, and that's a powerful position to be in. People who know how to preserve their energy are magnetic. Their presence feels calm, centered, and grounded because they're not letting external chaos disturb their inner peace. They have an unshakable quality because they know that their energy is their responsibility, and they guard it closely. When you adopt this mindset, people notice, they see that you're not easily provoked, that you're selective in what you engage with, and that there's a depth to how you move through the world. Your energy isn't scattered, reactive, or drained, it's focused and intentional. In the end, preserving your energy isn't just about protecting yourself from negativity, it's about building a life that aligns with your highest values. It's about focusing on what fuels you, what lifts you, and what helps you grow. Every time you choose to hold on to your energy rather than waste it on disrespect, you're choosing yourself, your peace, and your power. You're creating a foundation of resilience and self-respect that makes you unstoppable. This level of self-mastery isn't about avoiding difficult situations, it's about approaching life with the wisdom to know what deserves your energy and what doesn't. And that choice, made again and again, will transform not only how you handle disrespect, but how you handle life. Self-respect and ego often get tangled together, but in truth, they're miles apart. Self-respect is rooted in knowing your value, understanding your boundaries, and honoring your inner worth. Ego, on the other hand, thrives on validation, external approval, and the need to feel superior. When someone disrespects you, it's your ego that wants to react, to prove something, to protect an image. But self-respect, it doesn't need to prove anything to anyone because it stands firm in the knowledge of who you are and what you deserve. Choosing self-respect over ego means you're anchored in your own sense of worth. You're not defined by others' opinions or swayed by momentary conflicts. Ego pushes us to react immediately to defend our pride, to make sure no one gets away with disrespecting us. But self-respect takes a different path. It chooses to stay grounded, knowing that true worth isn't shaken by others' judgments or provocations. When you operate from a place of self-respect, you're saying, I don't need to respond to this negativity to know my own value. My worth doesn't depend on your acknowledgement or approval. Self-respect is calm and unyielding. It doesn't mean you let people walk over you. Instead, it means you stand tall with a quiet assurance. When someone disrespects you, reacting to win the situation often just feeds the ego. But true self-respect doesn't crave victory over others, it's about mastery over oneself. You're aware of your standards, your values, and what you're willing to tolerate. You understand that respect isn't something you demand with a raised voice or sharp words, it's something you command through your behavior and your actions. Choosing self-respect over ego also means you're mindful of where you place your attention. Ego is reactive, it wants immediate gratification and recognition. Self-respect, on the other hand, is patient and selective. It knows that reacting out of pride is often a waste of time and energy. With self-respect, you're not drawn into every argument, every slight, every criticism, because you have a bigger vision for yourself. You're here to grow, to improve, to live with purpose, not to be sidetracked by anyone's passing opinion or unkind words. People who live with self-respect over ego radiate a different kind of strength. It's not loud or showy, it's steady, rooted, and unmistakable. They don't need the world to validate them because they're already secure in their own skin. When you embody this, you become immune to disrespect in a way that others will notice. They'll see that you're not easily triggered, that you carry yourself with a quiet confidence, and that nothing superficial can rattle you. This isn't a sign of weakness, it's one of the purest forms of strength. Self-respect also reminds you that your response or lack thereof is entirely in your hands. Instead of acting impulsively, you act intentionally. When you stay composed, you show others and yourself that you value your peace over anyone's attempt to disturb it. This calm reaction is a testament to your inner strength and maturity, demonstrating that you've outgrown the need for constant validation. Self-respect is about honoring yourself deeply enough to not let disrespect knock you off your path. It's about moving through life with dignity and understanding that the only approval you truly need is your own. By choosing self-respect over ego, you build a life that's resilient and purpose-driven. Your actions come from a place of integrity, not the need to prove anything. This kind of strength attracts people's admiration and ultimately their respect, because when you respect yourself, others naturally follow suit. And in that place of self-assurance, you'll find that the moments of disrespect don't even faze you. You're not diminished by others' judgments because your worth is unshakable. Self-respect becomes the foundation that holds you steady, guiding you to rise above situations that might otherwise pull you down. When someone disrespects you, the instinct to react can feel automatic. But in that very moment, you have the opportunity to observe and learn, to transform what might have been a painful or frustrating experience into one that deepens your understanding. Observation is a powerful tool because it removes you from the role of a reactive participant and places you into a space of awareness. Instead of reacting impulsively, you begin to see things more clearly, uncovering layers of insight about both the other person and yourself. Observation allows you to detach from the heat of the moment and become a witness to what's happening. When you take a step back, you give yourself the chance to notice the motivations, patterns, and emotions driving the other person's behavior. Are they acting out of their own insecurities? Are they responding from a place of pain, frustration, or fear? Often, disrespect is less about you and more about the unresolved issues within someone else. By observing without taking it personally, you start to see these underlying currents, which gives you valuable perspective and prevents you from getting drawn into unnecessary conflict. But the benefits of observation go deeper than understanding others. They also reveal things about ourselves. When we choose to observe rather than react, we notice our own responses, our own triggers. What is it about this moment that bothers us? Why did this person's words or actions hit a nerve? This awareness lets us see areas where we may still feel vulnerable or insecure, inviting us to grow beyond them. Observing teaches us to recognize when we're acting out of old wounds or conditioning, empowering us to break free from reactive cycles and approach situations with greater wisdom and clarity. As you make a habit of observing and learning, you cultivate patience and emotional intelligence. You start seeing interactions as opportunities for insight rather than battles to be won. Instead of letting disrespect provoke you, you take a mental step back, allowing your mind to calm and your emotions to settle. This shift in focus brings control back to you. You realize that you don't have to be swept up in someone else's negativity. You can choose a different path, one where you stay centered and clear-headed. Observation also enhances your problem-solving skills. Rather than immediately reacting to disrespect, you learn to consider different angles and potential responses. With a calm mind, you're better equipped to handle difficult situations with creativity and resourcefulness. You become proactive rather than reactive, turning what could have been a draining experience into one that builds your character and strengthens your resilience. This habit of careful observation helps you make choices that align with your goals and values, leading to a life that's not only less stressful, but also more intentional and fulfilling. Over time, observing and learning from moments of disrespect builds an unshakable foundation of self-awareness. You're no longer thrown off balance by negativity because you see it for what it is, an opportunity to deepen your understanding of human nature and ultimately of yourself. People who can observe without reacting stand out. Their calm, centered presence shows a level of maturity and wisdom that doesn't go unnoticed. Others will recognize that you're not easily swayed, that you're someone who handles challenges with a quiet strength and depth. In this way, your ability to observe and learn becomes a source of respect in itself. Choosing observation over reaction is choosing growth over immediate satisfaction. It's deciding to see every situation, even the uncomfortable ones, as a chance to refine who you are. As you practice this, you become a person who is not just resilient, but also deeply insightful. You turn experiences that could have left you feeling small or disrespected into experiences that make you wiser, stronger, and more attuned to life. In the end, you become a person who learns continuously, someone who doesn't just go through life but grows through it. And that is a power that no amount of disrespect can take away. Choosing growth over conflict means actively deciding to prioritize your personal development rather than engaging in battles that drain you. When faced with disrespect, it's tempting to get pulled into a conflict to prove a point or to protect our pride. But by choosing growth, you're saying that you value your peace, progress, and future more than the need to win a temporary argument. Growth is about looking beyond the immediate moment and recognizing that every interaction, even difficult ones, can teach you something valuable about yourself and others. Growth doesn't mean avoiding confrontation at all costs. Rather, it's a choice to approach every challenge as an opportunity to become a better version of yourself. When someone disrespects you, instead of reacting defensively, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to develop resilience, patience, or compassion? These questions shift your focus from reacting to transforming. In choosing growth, you're not condoning poor behavior or letting others get away with disrespect. You're simply refusing to let their actions dictate your state of mind. You're keeping control over your energy, directing it towards something that builds you up rather than breaks you down. When you choose growth, you become more mindful of your reactions. You start to notice patterns, perhaps certain comments or situations trigger you more than others. By observing these patterns, you gain self-awareness, understanding which areas of yourself still need healing. Conflict often pulls us back into old wounds, highlighting insecurities or unresolved issues. But growth allows you to confront these areas constructively so that rather than reacting with anger or defensiveness, you're addressing the root of the pain. This process empowers you to move forward without being weighed down by emotional baggage, ultimately giving you greater freedom and inner peace. Choosing growth over conflict also influences how others see and interact with you. People who prioritize growth stand out. They carry a calm confidence, a presence that others notice. When you choose not to engage in petty disputes or arguments, it commands respect. People recognize that you're not easily provoked, that you operate on a different level, a level where you're focused on becoming the best version of yourself, not on tearing others down. This kind of maturity often disarms others as they see that you're not interested in hostility or blame. You're someone who rises above, and that makes people more likely to respect you and your boundaries. There's a quiet power in choosing growth over conflict. When you decide that your peace and personal evolution are more important than proving someone else wrong, you become unshakable. Life is full of situations that could easily pull you into unnecessary conflicts, but each time you choose growth, you're building a stronger foundation of self-respect and resilience. This decision turns every challenge into a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. Over time, this mindset creates a deep inner confidence, a kind of strength that doesn't depend on external validation or approval. You're anchored in your purpose, and that keeps you from being swayed by negativity. Choosing growth over conflict also means aligning with your goals and vision. Conflict often serves no real purpose. It's a distraction from the things that truly matter to you. When you're focused on growth, you're focused on becoming the person you want to be, on reaching the milestones that fulfill you, on creating a life that's driven by purpose. Conflict, on the other hand, can consume time, energy, and focus, pulling you away from what's truly important. By making a conscious decision to prioritize your growth, you ensure that you're investing in yourself, not wasting precious resources on battles that won't matter in the long run. This choice to grow rather than engage in conflict is a daily practice. It requires awareness, patience, and commitment to your own development. It's not always easy, especially when emotions are high, but each time you make this choice, you're reinforcing a habit that will serve you throughout your life. You're building a mindset that's resilient, purposeful, and forward-focused. And as you continue to grow, you'll find that disrespect, negativity, and conflict have less and less power over you You're free from being controlled by external factors because you're grounded in your own vision and values. Choosing growth over conflict transforms you. It makes you a person who not only overcomes challenges but uses them to become wiser, stronger, and more fulfilled. You're not just surviving life's difficulties, you're thriving through them. Each time you choose growth, you step into a version of yourself that's more resilient and empowered, building a life that's aligned with your highest aspirations. This is a choice that not only benefits you but inspires those around you, showing them that there's a better way, a way that prioritizes peace, purpose, and progress over temporary conflict. Letting your actions speak is one of the most powerful ways to handle disrespect. Words can be forgotten, twisted, or ignored, but actions have a way of making a lasting impact. When faced with disrespect, the instinct might be to argue, defend yourself, or even seek revenge. But by choosing to let your actions speak, you communicate with a strength that words alone can't convey. Your actions become a testament to your character, your values, and your integrity, demonstrating who you are without the need for explanation or validation. When you let your actions speak, you're showing that you don't need to justify yourself or engage in petty disputes. You understand that real strength isn't about proving someone wrong in the heat of the moment, it's about consistently living in a way that reflects your highest standards. This choice to act with purpose and integrity communicates a message that goes beyond words. It says, I am confident in who I am, and I don't need anyone else's approval to define my worth. Over time, people will remember your behavior far more than any words you might have said in response to negativity. Allowing your actions to speak also means staying focused on what truly matters. Disrespect can be a distraction, pulling you into arguments that waste your time and energy. But when you respond with action, you're choosing to channel your energy constructively. Instead of getting entangled in unproductive conflicts, you stay focused on your goals, on the things that align with your vision for yourself. This kind of response not only keeps you moving forward, but it also demonstrates maturity, discipline, and dedication. You're showing that you're someone who won't be derailed by others' opinions or judgments. Moreover, letting your actions speak has a profound impact on those around you. People notice when someone stays composed under pressure, when someone chooses integrity over retaliation. This quiet resilience earns respect, often from the very people who doubted or disrespected you. Your consistent positive actions become a mirror, reflecting others' negativity back to them and highlighting the contrast. You're not stooping to anyone's level. Instead, you're holding a standard that others will eventually have to acknowledge. In many cases, the very people who disrespect you may come to respect you precisely because you didn't lower yourself to meet their hostility. Letting actions speak is also about building credibility and trust with yourself. Each time you respond to negativity with consistent, purposeful action, you're reinforcing your own confidence and self-respect. You're proving to yourself that you can handle life's challenges with grace and determination. Over time, this builds a deep sense of inner strength, a quiet assurance that doesn't rely on anyone else's validation. This internal growth is far more valuable than winning any single argument or proving a point in the moment. By choosing action over reaction, you're investing in long-term growth, creating a foundation that makes you resilient in the face of any challenge. This choice to act rather than react also cultivates patience and perspective. It teaches you to take the high road, to see beyond immediate discomfort and focus on the bigger picture. When you commit to letting your actions speak, you learn that not everything requires a response. You start to understand that the best way to handle disrespect isn't always to confront it directly, but to live in such a way that your success, integrity, and purpose make any negative words irrelevant. By rising above, you're not just avoiding conflict, you're showing what true strength looks like. Ultimately, when you let actions speak, you're aligning yourself with a path of continuous growth. You're not held back by the need for validation or the urge to react to every insult. Instead, you're free to pursue what genuinely fulfills you. Over time, this approach brings a level of respect, admiration, and influence that words alone could never achieve. You become someone who inspires others through example, someone who shows that confidence, resilience, and inner strength are more powerful than any momentary conflict. By choosing to let your actions speak, you're not only protecting your peace, you're building a legacy of integrity that speaks for itself. The power of detachment lies in the freedom it brings. When you choose detachment, you're making a conscious decision to not let others' words, actions, or judgments control your emotional state or dictate your sense of self-worth. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care, it means you understand the difference between being involved and being entangled. You recognize that. While people and situations may affect you, they don't define you. This ability to detach empowers you to maintain inner peace, regardless of external circumstances. It's about creating a mental and emotional space where you can observe what's happening without being consumed by it. Detachment allows you to view situations from a higher perspective, bringing clarity and objectivity. When someone disrespects you or tries to bring negativity into your life, your first instinct might be to react, to prove yourself, or to protect your ego. But detachment lets you take a step back, giving you a moment to reflect before you respond. You begin to see the situation as it truly is, rather than through the lens of hurt or pride. This perspective is liberating because it frees you from the emotional weight that often accompanies disrespect or conflict. You're able to observe without taking everything personally, realizing that others' actions are often reflections of their own struggles, not of your worth. Practicing detachment also strengthens your resilience. In life, there will always be challenges, disagreements, and moments of tension, but with detachment, you can move through these situations without losing your sense of stability. You're able to handle ups and downs with greater ease because you're not emotionally tied to every outcome. Detachment gives you the ability to flow with life's changes instead of resisting them. You're no longer at the mercy of every wave, you're riding them, observing them, and choosing your own direction. This resilience makes you less reactive and more adaptable, which is crucial for growth and success in all areas of life. When you're detached, you're also able to set boundaries that protect your energy and well-being. Detachment helps you recognize where your responsibility ends and where others begins. You don't feel compelled to fix everyone's problems or respond to every provocation because you understand that everyone has their own path, their own lessons to learn. You're no longer taking responsibility for others' emotions, opinions, or behaviors, allowing you to maintain your focus and energy for things that truly matter. This sense of self-possession reinforces your ability to stay calm and centered, even in the face of negativity. Detachment enhances your relationships too. By not being overly attached to others' reactions or approval, you give people the space to be themselves without feeling judged or controlled. Detachment allows you to offer love and kindness without strings attached, which creates a stronger, healthier bond. You're no longer seeking validation or placing expectations on others to fulfill your needs. This non-attachment fosters genuine connections because it's based on acceptance rather than control. People often feel a sense of relief around those who are detached because they know they won't be judged or pressured. On a personal level, detachment helps you stay aligned with your true self. When you're attached to others' opinions, successes, or criticisms, you risk losing sight of your own path. Detachment brings you back to your center, helping you recognize what truly matters to you and what doesn't. You begin to operate from a place of authenticity where your decisions are based on your values rather than on external influences. This self-alignment is empowering as it grounds you in your purpose and frees you from constantly comparing yourself to others. You're no longer chasing approval or trying to fit into molds that don't suit you. You're simply being true to who you are. Detachment also gives you a sense of control over your own emotions. When you're detached, you're less likely to be swayed by fleeting emotions or temporary disappointments. You understand that emotions come and go, but your sense of self is constant. This realization allows you to navigate life with a steady mind and an open heart, making decisions that are not dictated by fear, anger, or hurt. Instead, your choices come from a place of wisdom and clarity. You're able to respond to situations with grace and patience, which ultimately leads to better outcomes and a greater sense of inner peace. Ultimately, the power of detachment is the power of freedom. When you're detached, you're free from the need to control everything and everyone around you. You're free from the constant pull of ego, free from the need to prove yourself, and free from the emotional highs and lows that often accompany attachment. This freedom brings a deep sense of contentment as you realize that your happiness and sense of self are not dependent on anyone or anything outside of you. You're able to experience life more fully because you're no longer bound by expectations or fears. In the end, detachment isn't about distancing yourself from life, it's about engaging with life in a more balanced and empowered way. By embracing detachment, you're not running from challenges or avoiding connections. Rather, you're cultivating the inner strength to remain centered no matter what life brings. This choice to detach, to observe without being consumed, to love without clinging, and to act without needing control brings a profound sense of liberation and peace. You become someone who moves through life with purpose and poise, untouched by negativity, because your inner foundation is unshakable. Choosing to stay quiet after disrespect, letting actions speak louder than words, and embracing detachment transforms you into a person of resilience and depth. By holding your power and restraint, you become the master of your emotions rather than a prisoner to them. You learn to control your response, to prioritize growth over conflict, and to preserve your energy for what truly matters. You understand that self-respect rises above ego, that true strength lies not in reaction but in purposeful action, and that detachment frees you from the need to control every outcome. When you rise above conflict, when you step back to observe and learn, you step into a space of peace and strength that few can touch. You become someone others respect, not because of words, but because of who you are and how you live. By choosing this path, you not only elevate yourself, but also inspire others to do the same. And in this quiet strength, this powerful silence, you reveal the essence of true resilience, proving that the greatest victories are often won not in battles, but in the mastery of self.